Alright guys, this is not a drill, it's not an April Fool's joke. It's about to be 99 degrees in my garden. Let's try not to burn everything up! Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tiffany Benson, one part of Team Benson. Excuse the dramatic entrance, but it is about to be fake summer. Remember when I told you guys there's a fake spring, there's a fake fall, there's a fake winter all in Arizona? Well, it is time for fake summer, and fake summer is going to be like hot. So it is going to be, I think, 94 degrees today, and it's going to get up to 99, maybe 100 over the next like 3 or 4 days. So I need to prepare my garden for that. I have the big bucket of shade cloth. I need to do an emergency harvest, which is what I'm going to do right now to get all of my cabbages out. Now, the temperature is going to drop back down because, once again, this is just fake summer. But the problem is that I don't want my cabbages to go bitter or to bolt. So I would rather be able to use them now, so go ahead and take them out and just use the leaves that I have now, whether it be for our corned beef and cabbage night that we're gonna have, or to dehydrate them and make them into green powder, because now this is pretty much my last chance to fill up my green powder jar. So I wanna make sure that I get as much as I can for that. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is, if you guys are harvesting your cabbages at this time, like this late into spring, well, for the desert people, it's not late into spring for anybody else, but it's definitely late in spring for us because we're getting ready to hit really high temperatures. So if you're doing that, and for those of you that when you are getting ready to hit high temperatures and you're harvesting cabbages late, then you want to get yourself a bucket, fill it with some water, and add some vinegar to it, because I can 100% guarantee you there's going to be some little buggies in there. Whether it's going to be worms or whatever, there's going to be buggies in there because this is the time that the buggies are out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get all of my cabbages. I'm leaving my greens, my kale, my Swiss chard, and yeah, those are the only ones that I'm leaving, because those will be fine going into probably all the way up until June, July, before they start getting a little bit bitter. But I'm going to get all of the cabbages, and then I'm going to start harvesting all of the spinach. And all of my lettuce has already started bolting because yesterday was 90 degrees. So you might look at these and think, oh, those are so beautiful, there's no buggies. But I bet you guys there are gonna be some buggies. So I have my water going that I am going to be dipping those in. Now all I used was about a cup of vinegar, and I'm going to fill this to about a half a gallon of water, so then that way I can fully submerge the cabbage in there. Alright guys, so we have our water mixture, and all I'm going to do is I'm gonna take one of these, and I'm going to see if I can get it tall enough. Let me grab a crate. Alright guys, so I have my cabbage. All I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it at the base. These are going to be kind of tiny. So I got it, and then I'm just going to put it upside down in the vinegar water mixture and just let it soak in there. Now some people might say, Tiffany, that's so extreme. All you have to do is just bring them into the house and rinse them off. But one time I was soaking some cabbage that was late in the season, and I saw a little green wormy just going across my countertop, and I thought to myself, there has to be a better way than to have bugs in my kitchen. And this is that better way. All you have to do is soak it for maybe 5 minutes, and then just put it in your clean bucket, and then bring it in the house, and then you can chop it up, rewash them to where they're not all together, and life is good. You don't get any worms crawling across your countertop. how big that is. Now while I am letting this cabbage soak, which, look at these little guys. They're so pretty. So, you know, one thing I want to talk to you guys about is that even though this is like, oh my god, I have to take everything out of my garden right now because it's going to be so hot. A lot of things are staying in because we put them in slowly. So that's one of those things that you want to do, is constantly be putting new things into your garden so that when it's the end of the season for one thing, then you can always start something else and have something going to kind of take its place. So these cabbages, although they're coming out, there's okra that's sprouting inside, waiting for it not to be super hot so that then I could put them out as little baby starts. The other thing is that it's going to be really hot, which is going to be around up to like 99 degrees, I think, on one of the days. But what you can do is start seeds outside in your garden, because a lot of your summer crops are going to need really warm weather in order for them to sprout. So if you plant your beans in ground, your melons, your watermelons, your cucumbers, that warmth of that ground is what's going to help those sprout. And then by the time it cools back down to the 80s, they won't be burning up as little baby sprouts. Now, if you have little baby sprouts that you already have going in your house, then you just wait that week and then put them out. In the meantime, all of those pots that you had your stuff in, cover those, sterilize them, because some of my pots have fungus nets in them, which is nice and fun, but watering and trying to keep up with the watering for these larger leafier vegetables, which they need a lot of water, a lot of times in containers, those equal fungus nets, because the water doesn't really have anywhere to go besides the soil. And you want the soil to stay moist in order to be able to keep the plant from going bitter or burning up. But what you can do is just take a tarp, put it over top of those, maybe throw a little cinnamon down on there, and then let that sit while it's really hot. And then that way that temperature can go in, kill all the fungus nets, kill any fungus, and then you just fluff up the soil. If there's anything that like needs to come out, like any big giant roots, you could take those big giant roots out, give them to the worms, add a couple more things of soil, and then put your seeds in there and you're ready to go. Or put your starts in there from the inside and you're ready to go. Alright guys, there might have been a small chance I was a little bit dramatic, because after, what was it, 2, 4, 6, 8, yeah, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 cabbages and the one I can't see, or one I can't say, I did only find 2 worms. But those are 2 worms that could have been in my kitchen that are now outside here. There you go. Okay, so Artie is staying, the Swiss chard is staying, the kale is staying, and guys, look at how the Swiss chard is already starting to grow back after I just harvested. And then the collards are staying, and the spinach I'm going to take out, and the spinach I'm just going to harvest and see if I can keep it. I want to see. I'm pretty interested to see how it does with this row cover. And then the lettuce is starting to get a little bit bitter, so I'm going to go ahead and take that out. And as you guys can see, look at that little worm eating it. Now guys, I wanted to stop for a minute to show you guys all these little green beans that are coming in. Now I'm not sure if this is Kentucky Wonder or a Chinese red long noodle bean. I was hoping for Chinese red long noodle bean, but I'm starting to think Kentucky Wonder. We are going to see, and I'm also going to plant some backup Chinese red long noodle beans, because the Kentucky Wonders will do good until probably about mid-spring, or I want to say like May or June. Probably June, maybe early July, but as you guys can see all these new ones coming up. But the Chinese red long noodle beans are supposed to be able to last a lot longer. Alright guys, so I also want to talk about shade cloth, because I'm going to be putting up my shade cloth at the very end, and then I will let you guys see what that looks like just before I go in. And it's already starting to smell hot out here. So for those of you guys that live in the desert, you know what I mean. It's that smell of just heat. So I'm going to not worry so much about my giant tomato plant, which does make me worry a little bit, especially for the day that's going to be 99 degrees. But I'm not overly worried, just because the sun is not the sun hasn't shifted yet. So instead of the sun going to be here when it's 99 degrees and here when it's 99 degrees, the sun's actually going to be opposite where my strawberries are. And it may not even be 99 degrees even then. Like, it'll probably be 99 degrees when the sun is off of my backyard altogether. But I still want to go ahead and cover as much as I can, but I'm just not going to worry about the very tops of it. We're just going to hope that's going to be okay. I've never had that situation where I've had a tomato plant grow that large. I have had my Armenian cucumbers be exposed and those are fine, and my green beans be exposed and those be fine at this time, but I've never had a tomato plant be exposed. So we're going to see how that turns out, and you guys will just have to follow along to tell me what you think and to see how it goes. But if you guys have any suggestions, and if you guys think that it'll be okay, comment down below what you think, and that can give me some hope, or let me know of, I need to come up with a better plan. So guys, this is how serious gardening in the desert is. I have a whole tubby full of different shade cloths and tarps and all those different things. So the shade cloth that I'm using is going to be a 40%, and then I think I have a 50%. Yeah, actually I know I have a 50% probably at the bottom of this bag that I will kind of hold off on until I really, really need it, or in case I run out. But what I am going to do is I'm going to raise this bar. So these are starting to get a lot taller, and so is my artichoke, and I don't want the shade cloth to be resting right on top of it. So I'm going to raise this to be a little bit higher, and then I am going to, instead of putting shade cloth on this and wasting my shade cloth, I am going to just double up on this fabric, because I also now have my umbrellas open for when it's really, really hot. So I will be closing the umbrellas until it's about, like, I want to say maybe like 85, 90 degrees, and then I'll open them if the sun is still on this side. So the next thing I want to talk to you guys about, which is what I'm getting ready to do while I pick all of my spinach, and you guys can see how much spinach I have afterwards, is that any starts that I have hardening off out here, which I have 2, I'm going to go ahead and plant. Now, I'll talk to you guys about that in Saturday's video, so I'm going to film that for Saturday's video, but I am going to go ahead and plant that. The other thing I'm going to do is water. Now, this is going to be the first day of a pretty hot day. I think we're getting 95 degrees, and this is the first time that it's going to be 95 degrees. So what I'm going to really focus on doing is making sure that I deep water today, because I want all of the plants to be full of water by the time the sun hits them. So I'm going to go ahead, start the water while I get the spinach picked. Alright guys, so look at how much spinach I got. Now this is out of the raised bed and the little tower. So that's a lot. Now I saw this meme where it was like a big giant pile of spinach, and then it was like cooked down and it's like 2 pieces of spinach. It's probably realistic. So this spinach is going into my freezer. If you guys want to see how I process like my weekly food, let me know down in the comments and I will make a video about that, because right now I have some carrots, some Swiss chard, and some spinach that all need to get processed and go into the freezer, so that then we will have them over the summer when it's 1,000,000 degrees and we're like, man, I really just want some spinach. So if you guys didn't watch my video on what you need for the summer, I will put that down below, because the main thing you want to do is get your shade cloth ordered, because you are going to need it if you plan to garden over the summer in the desert, and also if you plan to have a good fall garden, because you're going to need to start your fall garden in the summer, which it's going to be hot. So you want to make sure that you have those. So I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys for now, so this video isn't like forever long. Stay tuned to my channel, because I'm going to post for the next couple of days, so that you guys can see kind of like the process of my video, or of my garden as it gets hotter. Now I didn't get the shade cloth up, so I'm going to get that up in a few hours, and then I will have just a little clip of what that looks like in tomorrow's video for my medicinal Friday video, which we will be talking about the toothache plant. So stay tuned. Till next time, guys, grow yourselves a garden, because even a small space can provide you with tons of food. Bye, guys.